help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. Side effects include pain and swelling at the injection site, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
Old Man Winter's moving on out, and it's time to put a spring back in your step. Hi, Teresa here from the local Red Wings shoe store, and I'm here to tell you that Red Wings are not only for hardworking individuals. We've got footwear for every occasion, and here at Red Wings Shoes, we have partnered with Volumental and Superfeet to offer 3D printed orthotics. So stop on in and check it out for yourself at 3003 Main Avenue in Fargo. Red Wings Shoes for ultimate durability.
This is Weather and Ag in Focus with Bridgette Readel, Justin Storm, and Dean Wysocki.
Hey, welcome to Weather and Ag in Focus on this Tuesday, March 26th. 106 in the afternoon, temperatures in the upper teens to right around 20. We've got scattered snow showers moving through the valley. Occasionally reducing visibility down to a quarter mile or less along with that wind. So we'll be dealing with this probably for the next few hours before things start to improve a little bit towards evening. Justin, Bridgette, how do things look where you guys are at?
Standy there, Dean. The palm trees are swinging. It's 84 degrees outside. I'm loving life. I feel like I'm catching a sunburn, too.
Yeah, it looks like it.
You didn't get much sleep last night, did you?
I get all the sleep. No, I was very, very busy last night. Lots of work to get
breezy. Done. It's breezy. It's brisk. It was a challenge getting the dumpster to the curb today. So, yes, I'd be okay if the wind died down a little bit. I felt like it was pushing me backwards, actually.
Yeah, it is. We've got winds gusting close to 40 in some areas, and it's just
not strong enough.
Yeah. It's been tough. In fact, 94. It looks like they cleared up those accidents now on 94. Earlier, there were 3 accidents just on 94, just in Cass County. So luckily, that's gotten a little better, but still travel alert for Cass County if you're along 94 there. And again, that's where you're seeing the heavy blowing and drifting right across 94 there with those northwest winds. So please take it slow. Once you get past Hillsboro going north on 29, you're good. Once you get past Valley City going west on 94, you're looking good. But Minnesota, much of the same. A lot of snow and ice pack roadways, and a lot of these side streets are pretty messy as well. So
as you mentioned, I-29, especially north of Harwood, where the curves are at with the diversion, there's a slight new piece of highway that's been put in there, almost like a detour, if you will.
Ooh.
And with that
really
black
bendy.
top, it's fast. There's a reason it goes down to 65. So all of you 80 mile an hours out there, bring it down. And that black top, it tends to be a bit icy. So if you listen to your local ambulance crews visiting, that's where they are spending a majority of their time picking people up out of the ditch. So take it easy north of Grand Forks, right just north of Harwood. Or excuse me, north of Fargo, right north of Harwood.
That little bit of road, it just, even when it's dry and warm, it looks slick.
Yes, it does.
And we've got, I wonder which John this would be.
Do we even need to ask?
No, I don't even think we need to ask. John, welcome to Weather and Ag in Focus. Long time no hear. We were worried about you.
I thought the government asked for your help.
I'm out here using all 3 knees and both hands to stay on the road out in the country right now.
Where are you at, John?
Actually, I'm just out coming back up by Horace, but went out south of Moorhead, was out in the Tules there doing a pickup and working my way back over. And the county roads are definitely icy. So, if you're out there, just slow down. Turn them damn headlights on, people. Hey, crying out loud.
You know what, though? And, John, I'm guilty of that because mine are on automatic. And
figure it out, Dean.
Once I get in the car, I had to turn them on manually. So, Yeah, that's a good point, because when you get in that reduced visibility, these snow showers, how's the visibility been out there on your
Well,
during the morning and
it's been
afternoon?
up and down. Like right now, I could probably see pretty close to 2 miles. But a little bit ago, when I was on the clay side, we were down to about a quarter of a mile. And yeah, there's nothing a truck likes better than starting to pull out, and then all of a sudden, oh look, a car I didn't see because he didn't have his headlights on.
All right, so take John's advice. Make sure those headlights are on. I know a lot of people use those automatic lights, and they only go on when
they ought to outlaw them damn things. I'll tell you. You know, I see it even in the morning. You know, because these new cars, the dash lights come on. Well, you assume your lights are on,
right?
No, you still got to turn the knob.
Yes. Well, John, thanks for calling, and stay safe out there this afternoon, bud.
Yep, have a good one, guys.
You too.
Thanks, John.
All right. Yeah, the roads are slick, obviously, and I was going to get gas, and the side road going to get gas.
Did you slide off of it?
Oh, dude, it was good thing there was a drift there, like a big pillow drift, because I kind of slid right into that
name for a guardrail.
Yeah. It's a soft white one.
That's what we call it nowadays?
Yeah, that's what we're calling it.
Pillow drifts.
Yeah. So, watch out. A lot of icy travel out there, but things will get better as we head into the afternoon and especially into the evening. We're still dealing with windy conditions, occasional snow showers, and some of those could reduce visibility down to about a quarter mile for a brief period of time. Blowing and drifting snow, highs today mid-20s with a north-northwest wind 20 to 40. Mostly cloudy tonight, winds back off a touch, about 15 to 25. Lows down to about 9 above. And more sunshine for Wednesday and especially Thursday. Highs in the upper 20s on Wednesday, mid-30s on Friday. So with those temperatures and the sunshine, we will really start to melt away a lot of this snow, especially on the roadways. So that will drastically improve as we head towards Wednesday, Thursday. And then Friday, a little weak system comes in here, possibly giving us a little wintry mix, mid-upper 30s. We're in the mid to upper 30s through the weekend, and maybe another little light system coming in here on Sunday, Easter Sunday. So no big storms after this, it doesn't appear, and temperatures gradually warming up. I think they'll warm up into the 40s next week. Kind of a roller coaster ride, 40s, and then we'll dip down a little bit, and then we'll raise back up. So I don't see a big break in a consistent spring pattern, probably for at least 10 days. Hopefully it's no longer than that. I think we're all ready for spring after this.
No, I'm in the mood now. Give me another one.
Oh, man.
I got gypped on the last storm. That was a bunch of not bonus sunshine. Yeah, a bunch of something. I don't know. I was ready for it, and just didn't pan out, man. I want my money's worth. I was ready.
Jeez.
So things going to be better
more.
tomorrow? I got to travel tomorrow. I have some plans in mind. I'd like to get places safely. Thank you very kindly. So
actually, you'll be much
better
better tomorrow.
tomorrow.
Much better tomorrow, Bridgette.
Oh, man.
Can only hope for the best.
Yeah.
Good luck to all of you around Sioux Falls tomorrow.
Right?
Yeah. Good luck, Sioux Falls. Watch out for that out-of-nowhere snow shower that no one talked about.
That's exactly.
Bridgette's coming for a visit.
Maybe it'll be a heat wave. You just never know. Maybe my luck is changing.
Oh, good idea. Maybe they'll be like, man, it's too hot.
Don't count on it.
It's a little flushed.
Where'd this heat come from? It's 70.
Summer. That's right.
Well, hey, we got some fun things
change.
coming up on the show today. We got our Farm Insurance Insider segment that's coming up here in about 6 minutes from now with Greg Stemen from Starion Bank. And if you want to join in that conversation, ask some questions, get in on the know, give us a call on the Red Wing Shoes phone line. That's 701-293-9000, or emails to the program also, weatherorag@flagfamily.com. We also have our comment chat box is available there on Facebook and YouTube Live. With an addition to our Farmer Insurance Insider segment, we have Cheyenne Gardens Trivia, another check on the forecast for those of you that are just joining us, and a few ag topics that we'll run down. One of them on tips to choose the right aerial applicator, as well as what data you need to capture in on the crop. and I hope I don't mispronounce this one, Bridgette, but is it Camelina and Kernza grains suited for North
It
Dakota
is.
crop diversity?
It is. Camelina and
All right.
Kernza are ancient grains that we might be looking at here. And honestly, before we get too far into those, we understand breaking news off the East Coast talking about the freighter that ran into the bridge in Maryland. And I had a listener and a custom applicator from the Delmarva area out there by Maryland, and he made mention of the fact that that's a major port for them to ship soybeans. So it's not just going to be about cars and trucks and things that get affected by that transportation, but we will also see a hang up in some agricultural products as well that would normally go through that port. With any luck, all of those people will be found soon. And we realize that there's a long stretch, literally, of bridge that's going to need to be repaired after all of this is cleaned up.
Yeah, quite unfortunate. What
Very.
was it? I didn't hear the whole story, but what the train or the boat lost power or control? Is that what it was?
Both. Yeah.
Both of them.
Yeah.
Lost
So,
control because it lost power.
I don't know if this is somebody, driving a stick shift and got her jammed between gears. I don't think it's quite that simple when you're powering a huge ship like that. But by all means, we want to make sure that safety first, folks. Be careful out there, even if you're in a passenger car thinking that everything is good around you on the bridge, right? Always keep an eye out.
Very good points. All right. Well, why don't we get caught up with the American Ag Network? When we come back, we'll start our Farm Insurance Insider with Greg Stemen. How's that sound, guys?
Sounds good, buddy.
That would be great.
All right. Stay tuned. Weather and Ag in Focus. We'll be right back.
Update. Well, the cattle complex continuing to trade lower as nervousness has sent the contracts spiraling lower. We've broken through some key moving averages, and that has opened us up to the downside here. A little bit of worry about bird flu that has spread in dairy cattle in Texas and Kansas, adding to some of the uneasiness along with that bearish cattle on feed report and that heavy placements number that we saw on Friday. Meantime, the hog trade is trading a bit higher in hopes of a supportive quarterly hogs and pigs report that is set to be released here on the day on Thursday. So watching this market's kind of a tale of two different markets here as we look at cattle versus hogs. Looking over at cash cattle activity, haven't really seen anything active here yet in cattle country. Could see some more pickup though as we get through the middle part of the week, and getting some 184 live bids now. I stand corrected in Kansas and Texas, but that's pretty much it. Traders may want to get some stuff done, though, ahead of a Good Friday. Beef cutouts mixed at midday. Choice up 37 cents, $311.26. Select down 152 at $344 per hundredweight. Over in Dorchester, Wisconsin, and Garnerville, Iowa, hog prices and trends are steady in both locations with barrows and gilts at 60. As we look at the lean hog cash index, that's down 1183.48. The feeder cattle index down 11 as well, 251.70. And also taking a look at the latest pork cutout values at midday. I just want to get a quick check of those. They are down 22 cents, 95.52. You're listening to the American Ag Network.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson. Are you over the age of 60 and been diagnosed with lung cancer? If so, you and your family may qualify for a cash award. Our experienced attorneys are standing by to evaluate whether you have a lung cancer claim that qualifies you for a cash award. The consultation is absolutely free, and there is no risk and no money out of pocket. We only receive a fee when we secure you and your family a settlement. 250,000 people are diagnosed with lung cancer every year. You're not alone in this battle. We can help make sure that you and your family are financially safe and that medical expenses are covered. Again, if you've been diagnosed with lung cancer and are over age 60, call now. Don't delay. There are deadlines for filing claims. We're standing by 24/7. Call us at 1-844-903-1744. 1-844-903-1744. That's 1-844-903-1744. Attorney advertising. William Steppacker Jr. is the attorney responsible for this ad. Main office, Granton, Pennsylvania. May not be available in all states.
Ahead of the close, April live cattle down 290, 183.30. Feeders April down 525, 245.20. April hogs 50 higher, 85.65. This is the American Ag Network.
This is Weather and Ag in Focus with Bridgette Readel, Justin Storm, and Dean Wysocki.
And welcome back. Thank you for joining us. We are so glad that you are here today with Dean and Justin and myself. And of course, our guest today, which would be Greg Stemen. Greg is with the Starion Bank in Fargo. And we call this segment our Farm Finance Insider because, Greg, as a banker, there's a little bit of experience on your shoulders that you've had. Would that be a fair statement?
Yeah, I've had a little bit, and I've always enjoyed the ag industry. Put it that way. I grew up in it, and then had a chance to get back into it about a decade and a half ago, and I'm glad to be back in it now.
That sounds fantastic. And think about all the experiences you've had change over your years in banking.
Yes, a number of them, and you find out that, and we'll address that in a little while because I know some of the topics we talked about, but you realize in ag these days, the best producers really have a team of individuals helping them out, and they all kind of have to work interactively together to make sure that they're making the best possible decisions for their production. And obviously, the farmer, the producer, has to be at the center of that relationship. But I think it's extremely important, and it doesn't get less complicated every year. It gets a little bit more complicated.
And Greg,
it really does.
Yeah, there's a lot of younger farmers that are starting out now or inheriting, what they've got. Now, do you have any finance programs to kind of help build a young farmer's credit?
And that's a good question. Obviously, you establish a credit relationship with a lender.
Sure.
But at the same time, there's some things out there, and we've addressed this topic briefly on some previous programs. Some vendors offer some, their own financing. They'll carry the paper, so to speak, or they will provide what they'll call maybe interest-free, and they will provide the funding for the producer to purchase those goods. Now, this goes back to having a team. Make sure your banker knows that you're doing that, because oftentimes when the banker sets up the initial line of credit, factors all the expenses in, what it's going to take to get the crop in the ground and get it to harvest ready. And oftentimes that will include, let's say, things like seed. Seed companies are well known for saying, hey, listen, we'll do some interest-free financing. You always want to ask some questions, though. And if it's interest-free, it sounds great. But what you also want to ask is, would I get a discount if I paid cash for it? You might get a discount if you pay cash, even though it's interest-free. And if you do get a discount, then you can still go borrow on your line of credit. But using those vendors can help you establish credit. Back to your original question, okay. Dean. It can help young producers establish that level of credit as long as they pay it and make the payments in a timely manner. And oftentimes those loans are unsecured because the bank will typically have first position on a lot of the products, on a lot of the crops once they've been harvested.
Okay.
Yesterday we talked with Julie Christensen from Bushel, and we were talking about all the work that they do with like Bushel Wallet, and they do so many of the apps and financing for agribusinesses, particularly grain elevators and so forth in the region. Now, one of the things that came to mind through some Facebook comments was that often elevators don't use something like that because there's so many names that need to go on a check when it comes to liens being filed, et cetera. And I think that just off the top of, I know we didn't talk about this in advance, Greg, but just coming from yesterday's conversation, when you have liens on that grain that's being sold, et cetera, that's not uncommon in the ag world. Would that be a fair statement?
That's a very fair statement, very accurate. And the majority of producers will have liens on their harvested crops. Now, don't get me wrong. Some people will put themselves in a position where they're so financially strong, they may be able to get access to a line of credit and get it and do it in an unsecured manner because they've established a credit history of the ability to repay, the financial strength that it takes to handle that amount of debt. And in those cases, if there are no liens, if it's an unsecured line of credit, then you aren't going to have all those things on the check. But the majority of producers do, and they will because they will collateralize that line of credit with the produced crops and then the value of those produced crops, the projected value of those produced crops. And so that's why it's important to make sure you're communicating not only with the vendors but with your banker and things along those lines. And then also getting back to you want to protect your future. You want to mitigate risk when it comes to producing, and that's where crop insurance comes in. And that's another team member that's an incredibly valuable member of that farmers advisory team is your crop insurance provider.
Absolutely. And go ahead, Justin. You've got a question in there.
Well, if you're going to add on to that, go for it. I can ask mine
mine's going
afterwards.
mine's going to take a little bit different direction, and that's when we mentioned crop insurance. Are there some things that we should be building on with crop insurance that our growers should be taking into consideration before we even plant right now?
Well, what I will tell you is I'm not going to walk down that road because it's not my area of expertise. But the importance of great guidance when it comes to crop insurance is an absolute necessity. And when it comes to your crop insurance provider, first of all, RMA sets all the prices. So no insurance provider can go out there and say we've got an advantage when it comes to price. The price is set across the board. How do crop insurance providers gain an edge? Basically by quality of service and how hard are they working at staying up on all of the latest changes within the industry, whatever it might be, and how well do they know your operation so that they can pair it with the best possible coverage that mitigates the risk out there and puts you in the best possible position to make all those payments at the end of the year and protects yourself when it comes to a potential loss in production. So I think it's incredibly important to have an experienced crop insurance agent, at least an experienced crop insurance company, but a strong relationship and someone who really knows your operation and knows the best possible coverage to set you up for success should any type of major or minor disaster happen down the road.
See, and we're getting to that point in the year where a lot of farmers are starting to get ready to put seed into the ground. As a banker, is there any advice or tips that you would give them?
Talk to the people that know. Talk to your advisors when it comes to your agronomist, as far as soil temperature, things along those lines, and making sure that you're as well educated as you can possibly can be, and then pay attention to the weather forecast because you never know. But at the same time, it's at the time of year where the soil can warm up relatively quickly. But those questions are best answered by other members of your team that this is their area of specialty, their area of study, your agronomist, and people like him or herself are the ones that can give you the best possible insight.
So I've got a different segment. We've been talking about crop insurance, inputs such as our seed, et cetera. But Greg, if it were to come to equipment, when you talk to growers, there are times where they had last year's equipment expense somewhere in the neighborhood of $250,000. Do you have a ratio or anything that you would use with one of your customers to say it's time for you to do an upgrade, maybe do some different used equipment to reduce some of your parts expense or labor expense?
Well, that's a very fair question. I don't necessarily have a ratio in mind. It really comes down to, and I think you kind of addressed, if you had $250,000 in repairs last year, are you looking at it going, maybe I'm pouring money down a bottomless pit here, right? And I'm never going to be able to stay on top of this. And the investment in a new piece of machinery, that's a conversation that is worth having. And there's such a broad range of costs. I mean, when it comes down to a quad track or a combine pushing that $800,000-$900,000 number, I mean, it's an incredible investment. So then also you have to look at, is leasing worthwhile? What are the best ways to go about and as far as using those expenses when it comes to, should it be on repairs, should it be on purchases? That's really a case by case situation, I believe. From one producer to the next, you may have a different priority or you may have a different strategy based on their history, based on, was it just a unique situation that caused that high number in repairs? You never know, but you'll never find out unless you ask enough questions to actually get to the bottom of it. But that's a very fair question. I wish I had a clean answer for you. I just think it varies from one situation to the next.
Well, it probably does. And so this last one is less of a question, but just hopefully it leads to a fun conversation for you. And that is, as a kid whose dad would go to auction sales and buy something and then say, geez, I should probably call my banker Bud and let him know I bought this and how are we going to finance it? Anything like that happen to you, Greg, that you had to go take care of with a customer?
You have no idea how often that happens. And it's, and you get to the end of the year and you're going, oh, wait, we're $40,000 short. And then it's, oh yeah, I did buy that used tractor for $45,000 at that auction sale, and I use my operating line for it. Well, what you do then is you turn the tractor out, you put the $45,000 back into the working capital, and all of a sudden your margin is made. You know, so it's those things that I forgot to mention that to you. And you'd kind of like them to have some foresight in it, but they didn't always. That's not always the case because, you know, the deal's just too good. I don't have time to call the banker. I just don't want to miss out on buying this thing, and I don't want my bid to get missed.
And I realize things have changed now with so many more online auctions. It's not like you're standing at an actual auction making that split decision where you maybe can be texting your banker as fast as your online bidding. But I will tell you, I was once sent to a farm auction. I want you to envision a 20-year-old college student going to a farm auction whose dad said, "Could you buy a truck today?" And I said, "What am I buying?" "Well, there's a tandem there that I want." "Which one?" "One of the three." "How much should I spend?" "Whatever you think is a good idea."
Oh, boy.
"Well, how do I know if it's a good truck, Dad?" He said, "Just use your best judgment." I said, "Who's paying for this?" "Oh, write a check. I'll pay you back." And off I went to an auction sale and bought a truck.
And how did it turn out?
My brothers ran it for a long time on the farm, so I
Nice.
think I did okay.
Your gut paid
Now that I
off.
think of it.
Yeah, nice job. That's a good purchase.
Yeah. But let's just say that whole event when I was writing the check was a little scary.
I believe that.
Anyway, so Greg, thank you for joining us, and thanks for always bringing great insights here on this segment. And again, for those of you who are listening, Greg is going to join us the last Tuesday of every month for Farm Finance Insider. He is with Starion Bank, and it is 1:31 in the afternoon. Don't go anywhere. We want to come right back and keep talking as we have more headlines to accomplish today. Thanks. Be right back.
Jay Thomas has a brand new show, The Common Sense Club with Jay Thomas, Scott Hennon, and Steve Hallstrom.
This really worries me when the government's going to start saying, we don't like your business, we don't like who you're tied to.
You're forgetting an important component in this, though, and that's Chinese ownership.
I get that, Scott. I get that, and I understand that. But again, do you want the government now deciding where we're going to get our information from?
The Common Sense Club. Subscribe today at flagfamily.com/plus.
Are you having transmission problems and struggling to find a place to work on it? I've got some exciting news for you. I'm Matthew from Fix It Forward Auto Care, and we're excited to announce that we're now offering full-service transmission repair for automotive and light truck applications, including repair, rebuilding, and replacement. If your transmission is making unusual noises, slips, or is leaking, stop by any of our 4 convenient FM locations so our skilled technicians can check it out. Fix It Forward Auto Care, the name you trust for car repair.
Fix It Forward Auto Care.
Pucklet Chevrolet Buick GMC in Valley City makes it easy to find your next Chevrolet Buick GMC or pre-owned vehicle by offering a great selection at our best prices possible.
Good afternoon, I'm Tom Tucker, WDAY News First. A Moorhead woman has been sentenced to 60 days in jail and 5 years of supervised probation for a hit and run that seriously injured a 12-year-old boy last April. 60-year-old Jacqueline Swanson pleaded guilty to criminal vehicular operation. Zamir Rayford suffered several broken bones and has undergone 12 surgeries. School resource officers have returned to schools in Clay County. The sheriff's office says Deputy Lee and Deputy Kellen have resumed their SRO duties in the Ulen-Hitterdal School District and the Dilworth-Glendon-Felton School District. The Clay County Sheriff's Office was among many law enforcement agencies statewide that pulled their SROs from schools last year, following a new state law which restricted SROs' use of force on campus. Governor Walz signed a new law earlier this month to clarify that legislation. And North Dakota's Republican Party is nearing a record number of delegates for the 2024 election.
I think we have over 1,600 registered right now delegates.
Indeed, GOP Chairwoman Sandy Sanford says the number of delegates only trails the total registered for the election in 2016. Sanford says all but 2 GOP candidates for state offices will be at the GOP convention in Fargo. Tom Tucker, WDAY and WDAYRadioNow.com.
Okay, so you've heard about the Sunday brunch at Barron's Eatery at Kingpin's every Sunday. Well, wait till you see how they're amping it up a bit for Easter. Sunday, March 31st from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Join us at Barron's at Kingpin's for their Easter brunch. Smokehouse ham, build your own waffle bar, 2 chef's entree specials, baked Reggiano hash browns, biscuits and gravy, garlic mashed potatoes with gravy, their thick-cut hickory smoked bacon, sausage links. They're doing a chef's special egg bake along with the regular egg bake, fresh caramel rolls made to order, assorted fruit, assorted pastries and croissants, and of course the dessert bar. $25 for adults, kids eat for $15, 12 and under. You're going to need to call for a reservation, though. 701-532-BOWL. Push extension 2. 701-532-BOWL, extension 2. Or stop into Barron's host stand and make your reservation there. Barron's Eatery at Kingpin's for Easter brunch. We'll see you there.
Morton Buildings is hiring, so whether you're switching careers or just graduating high school, listen up. Hey, Will here. I'm 23 years old. I found my groove with a nationally recognized brand, doing what I love with an awesome crew and making some serious bank. Morton doesn't just pay well, they've got bad weather pay. Even if it's too hot or too cold, I still get paid up to 100 hours, whether I use them or not. Last year, I won a trip to Jamaica just for doing my job. And get this, quarterly bonuses. Why wouldn't you join the team? Go to mortonbuildings.com/careers for a career that's awesome. Don't wait, your future is calling with Morton Buildings.
Weather and Ag in Focus on WDAY Radio.
And welcome back to Weather and Ag in Focus. Thanks for rejoining us. It is 1:36 on this blustery Tuesday afternoon. And if you want to join in on the program today, ask some questions, join in on the conversation, have some fun, give us a call on the Red Wing Shoes phone line. That's 701-293-9000. We still got some ag topics to get to throughout the rest of this afternoon. And Dean, you want to run a quick check on the just forecast for today, and then we'll touch the extended forecast in our last month. Just give people a little update for those just joining us.
Yeah, sure. We've got some snow showers coming up and down the valley, stretching from about just south of Grand Forks through Buxton, Hillsboro, and down south into the Fargo area. That's the kind of western edge of it, but then that extends also eastward from Thief River down towards Ulen and White Earth, and down south towards Pelican Rapids. So pretty much from the valley eastward, scattered snow showers. This is reducing visibility, and we've got 2 reports now of accidents. We've got one on 94 eastbound at mile marker 318, and then we've got one on 29 going northbound at mile marker 100. So a couple of accidents, one on 94, one on 29. Slow your roll out there. 94 had numerous accidents earlier due to the blowing snow. Again, you get under one of these snow shower bands and visibility drastically drops to about a quarter mile. And it can improve within a minute or so, but you drive right into that. You could. There's a lot of slippery travel out there, a lot of ice and snow on the roads, blowing snow, reduced visibility. Take your time, and like John said earlier, make sure your headlights are on. I'm just looking at the interstate right now. The only vehicles that have their headlights on are the big rigs. They know. So, make sure those headlights are turned on because when you run into these snow bands and visibility drops, you got to be able to be seen. I'll get off my soapbox.
All right, well, why don't we have some fun? Let's do some Cheyenne Gardens trivia. How about we do this? What we're going to do here is I'm going to give you a garden trivia question or garden-related trivia question, and if you're the first person to call into the studio, 701-293-9000, give me the correct answer, you're going to win yourself a $10 certificate to Cheyenne Gardens. They're just 10 minutes north of Fargo, and I'll tell you what, they got a great selection of just about anything that you could be looking for up there. And that gift certificate you can pick up any day between Monday and Friday. Is 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., and it'll be valid after the 15th of April when they open up shop. So your trivia question, Dean, if you want to hit that trivia sounder for me, it should be on the right side. Archaeologists have uncovered evidence that grapes were grown to make wine about 8,000 years ago. Where? Ooh. Again, that trivia question. This one's a bit harder than yesterday's.
What is it?
You might have to Your thinking glasses. Archaeologists have uncovered evidence that grapes were grown to make wine about 8,000 years ago. Where? And there are technically two answers, and we will accept both of them.
No.
To the same place.
No, you said the one that was 8,000 years ago. The other one was before that, right?
Well, the answer
after that.
Present day is a different name than what it was.
Oh, okay. I got you. Okay.
Back then,
All right.
because empires or
Sure.
countries changing names
Sure. All right.
So I was just going to say, if I got a glass of wine, would that help me answer this question right now? Because if that's the case, I can be back in just a moment.
Probably not.
Yeah, you're good. Go get some. Remember, this is YouTube. There's no censors here.
Right. We got a caller on line one. Welcome to Weather and Ag in Focus. Can I get your name, please?
My name's Scott.
Scott, what do you think the answer is to today's trivia?
Egypt.
It is not Egypt.
No, Scott, sorry. It is
Good
not.
guess, though.
A very good guess. Very good guess. And the question again, Justin?
Again, archaeologists have uncovered evidence that grapes were grown to make wine about 8,000 years ago. Where? Egypt was 5,000 years ago. So this pushes further beyond
Further
Egypt.
back.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. By the way, you should also know that every time you play that Jeopardy music, I have to
love
laugh because it's like being at my grandma's house after school when I was a little kid and Jeopardy was on. So
Hit it
am I
again,
gonna get a
Dean.
cookie?
That's not Jeopardy. That's not Jeopardy. Do you remember what show that's from?
Jeopardy?
That's not.
What show is this?
What show is that from? Regis Philbin?
Oh, it's not.
Yeah, Regis Philbin.
It's Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, that was not on at Grandma's house. Jeopardy was, but now I still want a cookie to go with my wine.
Let's go to line one.
You're already drinking it.
Welcome to Weather and Ag in Focus. Can I get your name, please?
Twyla.
What's that again?
Twyla.
Twyla. All right. Well, welcome, Twyla. What do you think the answer is?
Well, is Google right? Is it Georgia?
It is not Georgia.
It's not Georgia. Sorry, Twyla. Good guess, though. That was a very good guess. And we've got an open line now, 701-293-9000 on our Red Wing Shoes shoe line. And we have a caller on line one here. And welcome to Weather and Ag in Focus. Can I get your name, please?
Daryl.
Daryl, what do you think the answer is to today's trivia question?
I think you mean like Mesopotamia or somewhere.
Yes, Mesopotamia,
Yes,
which is that's current Iraq area. So very good guess there.
Right on.
Yeah, if you want to hold on, Daryl, we'll put you on hold here, and our producer Addison will get some more information from you. So congratulations.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Good deal.
Right on. And that was today's segment of Garden Trivia, brought to you by Cheyenne Gardens, just a short 10-minute drive north of Fargo.
And they do
it
great
again
work out there.
tomorrow.
I just want to make sure people know what a great place they run. As someone who lives to the north and west of Fargo, I do stop there and buy different plants from time to time. They have some things that I want, and they have great nursery stock and just an excellent spot to shop. So go check them out. You'll like it.
Yep, they got a great selection there.
They do.
And it's just about that time of the year where everyone needs to go get their flowers to make the outside of their house look pretty again.
I bet if it warms up, as you guys are talking about, into early April, it will be folks at a dead sprint to all the greenhouses and garden places to start hauling the flowers home. Everybody's going to be ready. So you can go get your favorite red geraniums or, those green ivies and start hauling them home and putting them in spots that make you smile every day.
Dean, do you load flowers up outside of your house and that deck you don't have?
Well, what I'm doing is this year I'm re-landscaping the whole front. So I've got to get get some plants. I'm going to get a couple of rose bushes. What was that one? I had these back when I lived in Nebraska. They're very
Starts
common.
with a C, ends with an S.
It's a green plant. It's a green plant. You can cut
I'm
these
so glad
sticks
you
in
narrowed
half.
that down.
That narrows it down.
Yeah, five leaves.
No, these don't have 5 leaves. Those are in your basement. I let you borrow those.
Well, it's got green. I used to have them back in the day.
Man, it's a very well known, and it flowers in usually August into early September. I'm gonna find this. It's here.
Oh God,
you're killing me.
This is
you're killing yourself.
I know. I can't think of the name of it. Once I think of it, oh man, I know.
Digging your hole deeper.
I'm telling you. Well, I'm gonna need that shovel to dig up the garden.
If you ever knew what it was you were planting. Okay, moving on.
On the other side of the river.
Right. So a huge thank you to all of those who took the advice of last night, or of yesterday on the show, actually, and last night took the time to tune into Greener Pastures. It was a independent lens documentary on PBS seen around the country, and it focused on 4 farm families, mostly in Minnesota, Iowa, and over into Ohio and Wisconsin. And it led through what it was like on their farming seasons as they dealt with what they believed to be climate change questions, industrialization, addictions, family dynamics, mental health, and suicide attempts. So it was very eye-opening for those who might not be familiar with what really can happen in farming instances, and especially the focus on like a small family dairy farm. Those are boy, those folks have been going through a hard time for quite a while now. It's heartbreaking to see. And many farms have now since closed. We still have a huge number of dairy animals. Like in the state of Minnesota, the numbers haven't changed very much, but we have seen a big change in the number of actually farm families who are still milking all those cows. So things to keep in mind. Additionally, that was one thing that we talked about yesterday. Secondly, data is always a big topic of conversation, and we touched on that when we were with our guest yesterday, Julie from Bushel. And when data comes into us as far as the farm is concerned, there's so many different areas. Used to be that when you planted, all you really cared about was, did we get the seed in the ground? Now it's what goes along with that seed. Are we talking about starter fertilizers, herbicides, seed placement as far as plant populations, depths of seeding, etc.? And so a lot of that data is really important to the farmers. It's probably even going to be important to your agronomists and bankers down the line, but it's not the only place we're gathering data on the farm. So for those who aren't aware, we're doing it at harvest while we're doing applications of pesticides, fertilization, cover crop, tillage, and in other areas of the country, irrigation, as well as hay and foraging. So lots to think of when we are talking about data. Those are just a couple of the areas in which we do so.
I remember
Dean,
that. I remember
did you think
the
of your plant.
I remembered it.
Oh, do you?
It's a hosta. Those things you can't kill. You literally can't kill those things. Those are awesome. Yeah. So it's going to be that and the rose bushes in the front. Now, the thing I have to worry about is Betsy. Now that she's downstairs in the basement, I don't know. I don't know if cows won't eat that, will they? I know my dog tried to, and I was So we've got to keep her. We've got to keep her inside. So.
No, we're good.
Okay. All right.
This is a perfectly good time for us to say
excellent.
We're going to take a moment.
Yeah, we're going to gather
just
ourselves.
Nowhere in our chat, bold letters, Asta, Justine.
Okay, and you know what? While these commercials are playing, could you all please go to mortonbuildings.com/careers, check them out on days like today where it is windy, cold, and blustery. They have bad weather pay, and they might be looking for you to join their awesome team. They are 100% employee owned. Don't let this chance slide by. Go check out mortonbuildings.com/careers. And while you're doing that, we're going to take a short break. Be right back.
Welcome to Jiffy Lube Multi-Care, where car care just makes sense. Say goodbye to car talk confusion with personalized service reviews that speak straight to you. Our highly trained service technicians have your back, decoding what your car is saying and taking care of the small stuff before it becomes big stuff. From Pennzoil oil changes to tires, brakes, batteries, and more, we've got it all covered. Your car deserves the best, making you ready for whatever's next. Putting you in the driver's seat of car care? That's a job for Jiffy. Jiffy Lube, 620 Dakota Avenue, Wahpeton.
This Good Friday, Olivet Lutheran Church invites you to a deeply moving Tenebrae service, illuminating the 7 last words of Christ on the cross. Experience the weight of his sacrifice as we journey through each poignant word, drawing closer to the heart of Easter. Join us in solemn reflection as we remember the profound love and redemption found in Christ's final moments. If you can't join us in person, worship online on our YouTube channel. Go to olivet.org for details. Encounter Jesus, experience grace at Olivet Lutheran Church in Fargo.
It's about tradition, values, and family ties. Pucklet Chevrolet GMC's tradition of giving back to our community remains a priority, and that's why we've partnered with many local nonprofit organizations and events. And our tradition of giving this community a fair and honest offer continues. This month, save up to $10,102 on a new 23 GMC Sierra 1500 SLT. We're Pucklet Chevrolet GMC in Valley City. GMC, we are professional grade.
See dealer for details and 4/30/24.
Attention farmers! Are unexpected breakdowns leaving you stranded in the field? Don't let downtime hinder your harvest. Advanced Diesel Repair is your trusted partner in getting you back in action fast. Their technicians specialize in swift diagnostics and top-notch repairs, ensuring your diesel equipment is up and running in no time. With Advanced Diesel Repair, you can count on reliable service and minimal disruptions to your farming operation. Advanced Diesel Repair, conveniently located off the I-94 Wild Rice exit and online at adrofhorace.com.
Hey, it's Will. Whether you're itching for a career change or just graduated high school, listen up. Morton Buildings is hiring, and it's a game changer. I'm 23, found a gig with a nationally recognized brand, loving what I do and making bank. Morton not only pays an impressive wage, but get this, bad weather pay up to 100 hours. Quarterly bonuses, and last year, I scored a trip to Jamaica just for putting in the hours and being safe on the job. Why settle? Go to mortonbuildings.com/careers now and kickstart a career that's not only great, it's awesome.
Getting your biggest tax refund from Jackson Hewitt can lead to some spirited reactions.
Jackson Hewitt!
Jackson Hewitt is so sure they'll get you your biggest refund that if they don't, you get your money back plus $100.
Jackson Hewitt!
Switch to Jackson Hewitt and we'll beat what you paid last year, even if you filed online. Ain't nothing to it. Switch to Jackson Hewitt and pay less for tax prep, guaranteed. Proof of prior year payment required when filing. New clients only at participating locations through April 7th. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com.
This is Weather and Ag in Focus with Bridgette Readel, Justin Storm, and Dean Wysocki.
Oh, my God! And welcome back to Weather and Ag in Focus, 1:52 in the afternoon. Want to update you on some road conditions. We've got a couple more accidents. Slow down, people. We've got a couple accidents on 94 now. One eastbound 94 at mile marker 318, and then one just outside of West Fargo, westbound at mile marker 339, and then one right up around the Hillsboro area on 29 at mile marker 100. So, again, slippery travel out there, reduced visibility from time to time as these snow showers roll through. You combine that along with the wind and the blowing and drifting of the snow. Slow your roll, people. Slow her down. It's there's stretches of the interstate that are absolutely just fine. They're just wet. And then, bam, you're going to run across blowing snow, and then everything changes in a minute. So, got to be careful.
Well, that's what it's like in winter driving.
I know, but some people don't listen, or maybe they're out of town and they're not used to driving in this.
Or maybe they're like, I can get through anything.
Oh yeah, I've seen those too.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you'll notice I'm sitting in my chair, not in my pickup today.
Yeah, right?
Yes.
So, Bridgette, let's hit some ag topics here before we're done for the day.
Yeah, let's talk about the old grains from extinction. Well, maybe not quite that dramatic, but
well,
we can pretend.
If you look for ancient grains, and everybody's looking to diversify their farming operations, there's a couple of grains that come to mind that work is currently being done in this region. One of them being camelina, which is an oil seed. And in fact, there are some contracted acres that are going to be planted in North Dakota this year. Camelina will be raised so that those acres, once harvested, can be taken in for crush for sustainable biofuels. And it's a winter oil seed that actually has a bit of a place probably a little bit further outside the Red River Valley. I don't think it's going to be as adaptable to our heavier clay soils right here. but it's probably worth it for a number of people to look at. And I know that there's been some production of it in eastern Montana as well. Kernza is another ancient grain, and NDSU has had this planted out by Williston, and they're thinking about, how does this fit in well with some of our flexible rotations when it comes to small grains as well as corn. And so I think there's going to be some more work that's done. There were 5 varieties of Kernza that were released in 2018. So it's not like it's brand new. It's been around for a little while. It has the potential to be used as a forage, so you could bale it, you could graze cattle on it, and it can be combined for the grain itself. Once it's well established, diversified livestock and crop producers really like it, and they find the opportunity to use it as that not only could you graze it, but use it as a cash crop. That happens in other areas of the country to a certain extent. So for instance, when you get down into Oklahoma, Texas, where folks are going to plant winter wheat, and if they have too much winter kill, price isn't good, etc., they'll just go ahead and graze their cattle out there and use it as a diversified crop. Now we would have that opportunity with something like Kernza, and it would be an opportunity for some of our producers here. And it's nice to see that stubble that can stay in the soil, because right now with the lack of snowfall that we've had in some places and all of the heavy winds, we are seeing some soil particles blowing around quite a bit of wind erosion going on out there on those black fields. Whereas if we had a little plant material to hold it down, that would work out very, very well.
Yeah, the wind is it's something else when it comes to springtime and it's not wet. I remember a couple of years ago I was driving up from Fargo up to Grand Forks, and it just seemed like something out of the desert. I'm like, man, it looks really dark up there. It's just a sunny day and windy, and I'm like, man, it just looks dark. And then it went dark, and I was like, "Oh man, I'm in the middle of a dust storm right now." It's like I don't think I've ever been in a dust storm before.
And they happen. There's tillage that occurs, especially on heavy Fargo soils, because of what'll happen in the spring if we don't have some tillage. If we leave too much plant material, those fields don't dry out. We can't get planted in a timely fashion, and that affects our yield. And also, we have trouble with compaction and so forth already. But the downside is winters like what we're having right now without snow to hold it down, and we get these winds. Now we're seeing some of those soil particles pick up and move. And in fact, probably more so than anybody wants to see is having all that much dirt in the air. And I know our show friend Sarah would say, dirt, that's not dirt. It's dirt. But when it's in the air like that, I feel it's less of a living thing. And you're right, when it's on the ground, that's definitely our soils moving around. We don't want that. So we'll try to protect those in many ways. Maybe camelina and Kernza are 2 more ways that we can do that.
Definitely something to be tried out and see how it works. And you were saying it wasn't the root structure or something wasn't the most suitable for the valley. Is that what you were mentioning with it? Or the clay soils?
Right. Camelina likes something with a little bit better drainage than what we might see here from the looks of what I've seen about camelina at this point. But it may well be a new crop that we can see used for crush when it comes to sustainable fuels. And that's always a good thing for people, because people are certainly looking for those opportunities wherever they can.
Right. Maybe an option for a year that's probably going to be on the drier side, not having to deal with all the drainage issues.
Yeah, I think we'll have less drainage issues because right now, you guys are telling me we're going to have a drier, warmer summer. I relayed that information on a conference call earlier today that we may not have any hurdles with fungicide just simply because of drier weather and good air movement through the canopy on soybeans and sunflowers, etc.
All right. Well, we'll have to converse more on that tomorrow from 1 to 2 o'clock in the afternoon. We're out of time because the Jay Thomas Show's coming up next. Everyone have a great rest of your day. Drive safe out there. Turn the lights on. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Are you in need of a roof that can withstand all the elements? Look no further than Fargo Roofing and Siding, your local residential roofing experts. From repairs to replacements, we've got you covered with top quality materials and expert craftsmanship. Don't let a leaky roof rain on your parade.